Muy buenas y bienvenidos a este noveno capítulo del PPOdcast, como siempre con Kiko Felguera.
¿Qué tal, Marguirotti?
Bueno, aquí estamos en un episodio especial después del mercado de fichajes de invierno y primer PPOdcast con público.
Con público, la verdad que una grata sorpresa contar con algunos de los miembros del Club de Empresas del Club Deportivo Castellón. No es el mismo, tampoco la misma localización,
Sí.
cambia un poquito, pero bueno, creo que la ocasión lo merece.
Lo merece.
Y bueno, pues este ejercicio de que es idea de Bob, básicamente. Y bueno, que los aficionados, miembros del Club de Empresas, periodistas puedan hacerle sus preguntas.
Sí, eso es, después de este mercado de invierno ya hicimos una entrevista ya por septiembre con el custodio del Club Deportivo Castellón, Voulgaris, y hoy hacemos la segunda. Así que nada, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás, Bob? How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Good.
Yes.
How is your days here?
Good. Yeah, weather's a little bit colder than I'm used to, but nice otherwise.
Yeah.
No complaints.
Pues bueno, empezaremos ahora con las preguntas que habéis dejado vosotros, los aficionados, y después también pasaremos a las preguntas que ha hecho la gente del Club de Empresas y los periodististas.
Sí, mismo formato que el otro episodio que ya hicimos a principio de temporada. Nosotros formularemos las preguntas en castellano, él ya las dispone en inglés, las responderá y bueno, pues aquí debajo aparecerán unos maravillosos subtítulos para que todo el mundo pueda entenderlo, así que nada, deseando empezar, vamos allá.
Pues arrancaremos con el bloque deportivo y del mercado de la ventana de traspasos de invierno. Bueno, la primera pregunta para Bob nos la hace Héctor Guinot, que pregunta si se está trabajando en la renovación de Pablo Hernández.
Not right now, just because I think everyone has the same idea that I'm very happy with him and he's very happy to be here. So it doesn't really make sense to work on. I don't think he's going anywhere, and we certainly don't want him to go anywhere. So I think what I like about Pablo is he kind of has a good attitude. We share a similar attitude in that we kind of just like focus on the day to day and take care of what's going on right now. So I'm sure at some point we'll sit down and talk about that a little bit more. We've already talked about it casually, but not, in terms of formal terms. So I hope Pablo coaches the team for a very long time, and I'm sure everyone else agrees. So
Top.
Respecto a otra renovación, en este caso, ¿cómo está la renovación de Zipenga? Nos pregunta Oreyun 999.
Spenga is difficult, I think, just because for him, look, he's committed to the team for the rest of the season. I think he has goals very similar to ours. He wants to play in La Liga. We want to play in La Liga, so as well. So I think maybe there's a situation where we can do some renewal that benefits him and also benefits the team. But similar to situation as Pablo. I'm sure when the time comes, I'm not worried about him going anywhere else at this point. But when the time comes, we'll be able to kind of structure something that'll either work out for us or work out for him.
Sobre todo nombre propio, Ainara y Serte, esta pregunta se ha repetido mucho, es si hay alguna posibilidad de fichar a Guere, a Beñat Guere Navarrena.
I don't know. No idea, to be honest. Not our player. Every time we have these loan players, it's always the same thing. You want to keep them, but they're not your property, so you just kind of enjoy it while you can, and then when the season's over and you speak to his current club, you see what the situation is. I mean, for us, it's very difficult because I think we have a very good plan for our entire roster for next year in La Liga too. I think we're like quite set. All of our key players are under contract, with the exception of Brian and Beñat. But then in La Liga, it's a different situation if that happens. So we kind of have to plan for both. So I don't think it makes too much sense to focus on individual players. I think it makes more sense to focus on what the overall plan is for each path, depending on how the season goes. Long, still have 18 games left. So.
Otro nombre propio, nos pregunta Francisco Martín si se va a comprar el pase de Sienra para que se quede en el Castellón al final de esta temporada.
Yeah, we have a good loan, a good option to buy there. So I think at the end of the season we'll look at the market and execute the option if we have the cash available. But yeah, we're in a very good situation there to have an option to buy. So the plan, it wasn't just to have him for 1 year. The plan was to have him for many years. So.
Recién terminado el mercado de fichajes de invierno, nos pregunta también Francisco Martín si cabe la posibilidad de fichar a algún jugador que esté libre, que no tenga equipo, o si ya hemos superado el límite salarial.
We have money under the cap to sign other players, but I think our team is playing at a very high level, and the chances of a player who's not with the team coming in and contributing at the same high level as our current players are is probably not great. I mean, we are open to it, and if a good player that we think can help the team now But we're not really planning on, I think like previous windows, dating back to maybe last window and the year before, we were thinking about signings that would help us for the following season. Like Douglas was a signing like this for the following season.
Mobile
And
also.
who?
Mobile also.
Yes, Mobile also. And right now, I think we're not really looking for anything other than what will make our chances to have the best possible season this year. And so with that in mind, it's difficult to add players at the end of the window who are without a team, because you can have a situation like Escobar, for instance, last year where he wasn't in great shape. It was really difficult, and we weren't even at a very high level then. And now I think everyone's at a very high level. I think it wouldn't really make sense.
Otra pregunta respecto al mercado, nos dice Héctor Macián si analiza posibles fichajes para el equipo con sus algoritmos durante el año o simplemente lo hace en mercados de fichajes.
We're always planning ahead. I think like it's important to do all of your preparation work ahead of time. So the algorithms obviously are updating every minute of every game that's being played. And then we will liaison with Ramon, who's in charge of, like, we'll send him a list of players that we are interested in, and then he'll start reaching out ahead of time so we can be prepared. So like, for instance, this summer is a good example of that, because we knew we wanted to sign Mayotte as soon as it became obvious that Tenerife was likely to get relegated. So we started those conversations very early, and I think the main reason why we got him was because we showed interest like immediately, and he knew we wanted him for a long period of time. And so when we identify that we want a player, we usually start the process as soon as we're allowed to speak to the agents.
Javi nos pregunta también sobre la valoración la valoración de la reacción del equipo después de la llegada de Pablo.
I mean, how could you rate it any other way? It's been fantastic. Like, honestly, it's surprising to me. Like, when I met with Pablo and told him I wanted to be the intern, he wasn't even, when we were looking to hire an interim coach, it wasn't even like he was the first choice for sure, but I wasn't even like 100% sure, because he's only really coached for 1 year. And I didn't want to put him in a situation that was going to put him in a situation where he was in a very difficult situation, and that could, jeopardize his future to coach a team in the future. When we made Pablo, or when I made Pablo the coach of the B team last year, it was with the idea that he could be the coach of the first team at some point. And I even told him this a couple days ago, is like, I knew he was going to be a great coach, but I didn't think he would be a great coach right away. I thought he needed more work, and I was wrong. So like everyone, he can improve things, I'm sure, but right now the reaction of the team has been fantastic. The way we've played has been fantastic. He lets me do my job, I let him do his job. I couldn't be happier. It's just a really good relationship, so I like it a lot.
Marcus Eres nos consulta si seguimos utilizando un modelo basado exclusivamente en datos o intentamos encontrar una combinación de datos y jugadores con experiencia.
I don't understand the question. It's a weird question. Like, do we use we're a data club. So like, this is just like, these questions come every 3 months, every time they ask, but we're a data club. And in fact, the more experienced the player is, the more data you have. So you will have, like, we're never going to look at a player and be like, oh, the data's bad, but there's something about him, especially for an experienced player. If it's a young player, the data can be bad and you can take some chances, but we're just a data club. I mean, everyone needs to understand that. I don't know, I can say it another time if they want, but we don't have any scouts. We don't really scout anyone traditionally. Like, we do some scouting for the B team players. They do some, because there's very little data for younger players, but for first team, we're just a data club, and that's how we will always operate as long as I'm here. So.
Y J. Piquer nos pregunta qué le hizo pensar en que Johan Blatt debía comenzar la temporada 25-26.
Yeah. I liked the aggressive style. I mean, look, every time you bring in a new coach, it's very challenging. Like, you can have a coach who you really like the way they play, but then the relationship isn't great, and the way they react to certain situations isn't necessarily great. And so there's like an expression, I don't even know if it'll translate, but it's like, better the devil you know than the devil you don't know. So for me, I was like, okay, at least I know this guy. I know I can get along with him. We share similar philosophies in wanting to be offensive minded and play attacking football. I think he's a high character person. I think he has a good football mind, but it's a stressful job, and you never know how someone's going to perform until they're given the opportunity. And I thought that if I gave him a training camp, coming in halfway through the season, I thought we performed okay relative to how we performed earlier. Like, if you look at the previous 10 games with Dick, let's say, versus the first 10 games of Johan. I think the first 10 games of Johan were much better than the last 10 games of Dick. I don't think it was particularly close. And yes, that maybe there were some player changes that impacted that. But I just wanted to give him an off season. We were looking at some coaches. The coaches we wanted were not necessarily guys that we could get. So we decided to go with it. But I knew I was going to have a very, very quick trigger finger if things weren't going well. And for me, the results of the first 5 games weren't even that bad. Like we obviously the results in terms of the number of points, 2 points is not great. But if you look at, we were number 1 or number 2 in expected goals. We hit like 3 or 4 posts in one game. And we started every game very well. But the second halves of games were looked like train wrecks in my mind. They were not going well. And I think when you're a first-time coach with a lot of pressure, the decisions you make can lead to a lot of scrutiny. So I just wanted to start the season with them, see what we could do with the idea that it was the right decision, and then be able to pivot very, very quickly afterwards in case it didn't work out. And it didn't work out, and we were able to pivot. So that worked out well.
¿Crees que según cómo vaya febrero es momento de creer? Nos pregunta Javi.
Yeah, sure. We can start believing in February. I know it's a very tough schedule right now, but why would you not believe? Even like a month ago, you should have started believing, I think. I mean, we have a very good team. Anyone who watched our team play could see that we had a very, very good team. We have very, very good players. We have a lot of depth at every position for the most part. Yeah, believe for sure. Always believe.
Inma nos pregunta que si tuviera que definir una cualidad del equipo actual en una palabra, ¿cuál sería?
That's a good question. One quality of the current team. I think adaptability. I think we're very adaptable to very different playing styles. Like if we're playing a team that is a very, very low block oriented defense, we can play players that can capitalize on that. If we're playing a team that has a more wide open style, we can play players that have a wide open style. If we have teams that are deficient in set pieces, we can bring in some of our set piece monsters to play. So I think we just have a very adaptable team. I think that's and also high character players, which is high character coaching staff, high character trainers. Everyone in the building is high character, and I think that would high character, adaptable team. What I would say.
Con Lombarda nos pregunta ¿cómo mantienes la calma y la fidelidad a tus modelos cuando el proceso es correcto pero los resultados no llegan?
How do I remain calm? I just been doing this for so long that I just believe in what I'm doing. So I don't really of course you should always evaluate and make sure you're not making mistakes or you don't have any blind spots. But for me, staying calm is not a problem. It's more just doing the work, the necessary work to make sure that your models and processes are correct. Then the calm just you're never going to be super calm when you have no control over what's happening on the pitch. But if you don't accept that you have no control over it, it helps you be more calm. If that makes sense.
Y la última para cerrar este bloque, ¿qué proyección hay para los equipos más mayores de la cantera y para el femenino?
I think good prospects, especially as we establish more of a base in the first team. I think it raises the identity of the other teams. And once we start finishing up some of these pitches here or the other pitches that we're working on, that'll allow them to have a better work environment as well. But yeah, I think the prospects are good for sure.
Pasamos a una siguiente fase, un siguiente bloque, más relacionado con estadio, quizá con las instalaciones. Bueno, la primera está clara. Nos pregunta 964/PPO. Después de finalizar el tercer campo de la nueva ciudad deportiva, ¿cuál es la siguiente fase?
I think we're working on, after that we're going to work on the main building. So we're not in these buildings anymore. And then also at the same time, the mini stadium for the B team.
Esta es una pregunta que se repite mucho cuando hacemos estas entrevistas con Bob. Oreyud999 nos pregunta si tiene pensado en un futuro hacer más grande el Sky-Fi Castalia o hacer otro estadio.
Expanding the stadium, I think if we are, look, people aren't even coming to our games now. It's kind of interesting that I get that sometimes it's Sunday. Friday's no good, Monday's no good, Sunday's good, but not if it's too late. So it's very challenging. People are, we have a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Goldilocks is, it's too hot or it's too cold. It's this, it's that. But yeah, if we start selling out and we're in La Liga and there's a demand, and then we'll start thinking about expanding for sure. But until then, not likely. And building a new stadium, I would say almost zero chance at this point. So.
Otra que también se ha repetido bastante, en este caso Chimo Gorrin nos consulta si está prevista la instalación de un segundo videomarcador en Gol Sur.
Good question. Maybe. Yeah, maybe next season. Look at that for sure.
Otra sobre el Sky-Fi Castalia, Silvia pregunta si va a haber algún día algún tour en el estadio, en el Castalia.
When we'll be able to take a tour, I don't know. I'm not sure. Well, probably we could schedule that. That seems like something we could probably do. Maybe some of the people here would be able to work on that, but it seems like a good idea. What do they want to tour though?
Yeah, towards the stadium, towards the...
At the stadium or here?
in both, I think.
Here, I think would be interesting to take a tour at some point. The stadium, I feel like you can go to the games also, buy a ticket. You could tour when you go to the game. Show up early so you don't have to wait in the queue.
Jorge Mañán nos pregunta si volverá a haber partido de pretemporada en el Sky-Fi Castalia o en un futuro en el mini estadio de la Ciudad Deportiva Globo Energy.
I don't think the mini stadium will be ready in time. In fact, I know it won't be ready in time, but preseason matches. We always look and see. I mean, the challenging things with preseason matches is you have to find an opponent that matches the level so that it's a meaningful sport test. And then you have to find a location. And then you have to make sure the grass at Castalia is like in good condition. So like you don't want to rip out the grass and waste the grass for a preseason game unless it's challenging.
Demiur Goreyut, que también vaya Nick se ha puesto ahora amigo, nos pregunta que si en caso de ascenso si habría que hacer alguna reforma en el Sky-Fi Castalia.
I think there's some mandatory renovations that we have to do. Some are safety ones, and then and then we'll see. From there, we'll see. Depends on the situation.
Gol de Zipenga nos pregunta si hay alguna medida para solucionar las colas de los accesos.
I don't know. I think I would say like there's some gates that are obviously are experiencing delays, and maybe there's something we can do there, but we also have to abide by the regulations of using the turnstiles and the QR codes and all the other stuff. The other thing I'll say is like, where in life are 15,000 people going to show up in one place and not wait in line? Like, I don't know if any of you guys go to the airport and fly on planes, but maybe not my plane, but other planes you go to, you have to wait in line. It's just normal. And I think people have to understand that if everyone wants to show up at the exact same time to enter a place with only 2 queues, like we're not able to like cut open a new door yet. So we'll do our best, but I think also people have to kind of have the idea that it's maybe we need to do more to entertain them earlier so they can come earlier. I don't know. Yeah.
Empezamos con el tercer bloque, relacionado más con el club y con las relaciones. La primera pregunta nos preguntan qué implica a nivel de visibilidad y de relaciones con la Real Federación Española de Fútbol que en el Sky-Fi Castalia haya jugado la selección española sub-21, se haya jugado la Supercopa Femenina y ahora en marzo vaya a jugar la absoluta femenina.
So I think it's good. I think it's nice also to have, it's nice for people to be able to watch like high-level women's football, under 21 football. It helps to have a good relationship with the federation. Maybe we can have a little more luck in the VAR and on other decisions. So can't hurt, I guess. I don't know. I was like, maybe at some point we just need to be like, no more. I don't know. Yeah, it can't hurt. It's nice. It's nice to be able to provide that for our fans, also to come and see a different experience. I wasn't able to because I was out of town, but I heard that it was quite a nice experience for everybody. So it's good. Can't hurt, I guess. It can't be worse than what our current relationship is, it seems like. So.
Abraham Gash nos pregunta ¿qué mensaje le gustaría trasladar al empresario local que aún duda sobre invertir en el club como patrocinador?
I don't know. I don't want to be hesitant about investing. I guess maybe we need to do a better job of marketing that. It's nice to have a more like, look, our stadium's named after an international company. Both our kit sponsors the last 2 years have been international companies. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't have faith in investing in the club or doing things with the club. Maybe we need to do a better job there. I think we have a good relationship with a lot of local businesses. Also have to be realistic. There's not a lot of local businesses that have a budget to spend that much money for stuff. So we have to be aware of that. We're the realities of our current location of the club. But yeah, maybe we can do a better job of getting more kind of growth growth companies in Castellón or local companies to do smaller partnerships.
Oreyud Vibes nos pregunta sobre los colores, si habrá una equipación con los colores de la provincia de Castellón.
I think so. Yes, maybe. We'd asked this one last year too, right?
Yeah, I think the last time.
También, como habíamos comentado, hemos dado la opción a periodistas de poder preguntar. En este caso, compañero Xavi Ruber de Apunt nos consulta que nunca ha negado que el objetivo era ascender a Primera División en 6 años. 4 años después nos pregunta si el club está preparado a nivel deportivo, institucional y económico para dar el salto.
I think yeah, we're ready. I mean, it's going to be difficult, but there's no reason why we wouldn't be ready to do it now, especially on the sporting side and financial side. I don't know, why not? 2 years in third division, 2 years in second division. It's a very similar thing. But it's difficult. We have to also maintain a level of patience and see what happens at the end of the season. But if it were to happen, we would be ready for sure.
Carlos nos hace una pregunta personal para Bob. ¿Sientes al Castellón como algo tuyo en modo sentimental?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it takes up so much of my time. It's like all my working hours are devoted to Castellón, and then even my enjoyable hours of watching games and stuff. So very, very emotionally attached to the team. Yeah.
Saúl Viciano, que lo tenemos por aquí, de Saúl Brand, miembro del Club de Empresas del Club Deportivo Castellón, nos pregunta, que igual esta pregunta la han repetido en muchas ocasiones, pero ¿por qué eligió el Castellón y si lo volvería a elegir?
Why did I choose Castellón? Because I felt like there was a level of panic and negativity in the city, and I thought if we could do something great, it could change the vibe a little bit, and people would become more optimistic about things. And no, look, it's a great community, and I like the fact that it's working class and the people are very hardworking and it's very humble in that regard. And so, the situation in terms of the fan base was a big part of it. History of the club was a big part of it. Would I choose it again? Yeah, probably. There's definitely some limitations though in terms of I do get a sense that it's very difficult. It's going to be very difficult for us to compete. And it is very difficult for us to compete. We have to do so much player trading in order to increase our squad cost limit because the institutional business side of the club will always be challenging. But that just makes it more rewarding when you succeed, I think.
Alexis Cervera, otro periodista, en este caso de televisión de Castelló, nos pregunta qué normas le gustaría cambiar del fútbol.
I think I wouldn't want to. There's there's a lot of rules I would think about changing. The most obvious one to me is the replay, the VAR. I think the VAR should just be for very, very conclusive changes. Humans are always going to make mistakes. And I think if you have to spend 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes, going frame by frame on a decision to find out if it's to change a call, I feel like that's crazy. I think it should just be obvious ones. They could also do something like that with the offside, where it's full body position instead of a fingernail or an elbow or the cuff of the sleeve of the shirt. If it's just over a little bit, those are rules they should probably think about changing. And then the other part I think is it's just more a personal thing, but I still think it's hilarious that we never know how much time is left until the referee adds extra time. And there's no one guy can go to throw in the ball and then the other guy could put it on the ground and the other guy could come and you could just there's so much ability to waste time. And I feel that's kind of makes the game kind of romantic and different, but it's not very every other sport. When the ball goes out of bounds, the clock just stops. We have this ability with digital clocks now to do this. So something that you could think about, I suppose. And maybe that means you don't play a full 90 minutes anymore because that'll be a long time. Maybe add an extra sub or something. I don't know. But yeah, those are the two things I would change. The rest I would keep. It's just a beautiful sport for the most part.
Pau Piqueras, otro miembro del Club de Empresas, en este caso de OVE, nos pregunta, ¿el Club Deportivo Castellón puede convertirse en un hub de empresas e inversores de la provincia más allá del proyecto deportivo, dado el fuerte know-how de alto rendimiento que ya utiliza hoy en día?
I don't know. I feel maybe. I think the one thing that I focus on is just the football part, to be perfectly honest. That's what I know. And so how we could become a hub for business investors in the province, I'm not sure. We have to think about that and see what the situation is. Couldn't hurt, that's for sure.
Para ir terminando, otra pregunta de Saúl Brandt, esta vez de Andrés Vera. del Club de Empresas también. ¿Cuál es tu valoración personal después de este tiempo pasado en este proyecto tan motivador como es el Club Deportivo Castellón?
I think I underestimated how much like attachment I would have to it, how much work it would require. I think like initially when we first started, there was this idea that I would have people that I trusted to run certain things for me, and I could just kind of do the player trading and whatever. But I think if you're going to attach yourself to something and become emotionally invested in it and want to succeed, I think for me, it's hard finding people that have like a similar level of ability, drive, work ethic. So it's a lot more time than I would have expected. But also, if I was being realistic, I would have, and knowing myself, I would know that it would be very unlikely that I would not be like, I don't just do something and then just kind of half-ass it. I want to put all my effort into it. So that would be my assessment. A lot more time than I anticipated, but it's also rewarding. It's fun. It's exciting. So.
Pues bueno, muy bien, ¿no?
Ha sido más rápido que la otra vez.
Sí, ha sido...
Faster.
Yeah, faster than the other time. We are talking.
Yeah, you guys are rapid firing the questions.
Yeah.
Bueno, gracias a los que la han enviado.
Sí.
No podemos cogerlas a todas, pero bueno, hemos intentado coger una mini selección de cada tema para tratar un poco lo que más se repetía. Bueno, thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.
Thank
you
you
guys.
also for Oscar.
Oscar's feeding time. He's good for him because he eats at 4 o'clock, so he's got 7 minutes to get home and eat.
Gracias a los miembros.
Sí, gracias a todos por venir. Gracias también a mi crea por estar presente en este proyecto, como siempre, en cada capítulo del PPOdcast. Y nada, we are sure that we are going to make this more in some months ago.
Yeah, we got to slow you talk fast, I talk very fast.
Yeah.
Slow it down a little
Yeah,
bit.
maybe
Maybe 0.95 speed on the upload.
En the YouTube,
Yeah.
Pues bueno, lo dejaremos aquí. Invitado de lujo. Ahora también agradecer obviamente a Agua de Benasal que nos ha brindado, a Albert Brandon.
Nuestro Albert Brandon, nuestra ropa de confianza. Y nada, hasta la próxima. Agradecimientos y hasta la próxima. Y nos vamos viendo.
Hasta luego, gracias.
Chao, chao.